Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here, and today I would like to show you how to cut out stamped images using the Brother ScanNCut. We're going to focus on the Color Me Happy stamp set. Okay, I'll give you a view of what that looks like. Okay. Beautiful stamp set. Now, before this video, I went ahead and stamped images from the stamp set that I thought would cut out really nice with the Brother ScanNCut. And actually I experimented as well, and I know they cut out well. Okay, the word thank, we're going to cut out this word thank. We're going to cut out these lanterns. We're going to cut out the two little lovebirds and the flower. Okay, so I've stamped a page of images. I stamped using Memento Black ink onto Whisper white cardstock. The reason I use Memento is because we're going to be using the coloring blends, the alcohol markers, and that's why, because they will not run, well, very little, when using, the blends, the alcohol markers with that ink. Okay, so now what I'm going to do before I cut is I'm taking some painter's tape, okay, and I'm taping down my mat. I just happen to have the thick painter's tape, so I have to rip it in half because my mats are not very sticky, so I'm taping down the paper. But I don't, if I was to use the whole piece of tape, I would have covered up the numbers. So when you're taping down your paper, make sure you don't cover up these numbers on any of the sides of the mat because the Brother ScanNCut needs those to register when it's scanning. All right, so I think I'm taped enough. And I'm going to show you the menus now. All right, we turned on the machine. We're at the home screen. My two choices are pattern and scan. If I were to get patterns off of the machine to cut, I would choose this option. And you can watch my other tutorials on how to do that. But today we're going to scan because I want to scan these images in from the stamp set and I'm going to cut them. And I'm not going to save anything I do, so therefore I'm going to direct cut. That's my option. I'm either going to direct cut, not save anything, or I'm going to scan to cut data. That was if I wanted to use the image again later, manipulate it, I would save it. But in this case, I'm going to choose the direct cut option. In fact, 90% of the time I choose the direct cut option. Because these are just great little, black and white images with clear defined lines around them, I'm going to just choose the black and white recognition mode. Now, if you were cutting designer series paper or something that had a lot of, not a lot of contrast between the front and the back, you would use the color mode, but this, just keep it on the grayscale or the black and white recognition mode. Okay, let's go ahead and say start, and it's going to say load the mat. Okay, so load the mat, that's this button. I'm going to load the mat, and then I'm going to hit start. Okay. That little noise means that my tape is curling up on the edge. That's okay. I just reach over and flatten it. And often my tape gets stuck in there, but I can pull it out real easily, I mean. Okay, it's recognizing. And I think it did a pretty good job. I'm looking around and I see that it did a pretty good job recognizing these images. So I'm going to say okay. And now, what I want to do is I want to zoom in just to show you why I think that's good. Okay, it got many of these lanterns. It got a little bit of the inside of the wing, but we'll get rid of that. It got these two lanterns, but not the top ones. That's because, remember I told you my tape was peeling and maybe that interfered with the scanning while I was going through that area. Okay, and it got all the word thank, because I want to get the thanks, not the thank you, but just the thank. Okay, good job. I'm going to go ahead and go back out. Now, first thing is, I'm going to ignore small object sizes because I don't want a lot of these little bits around the edges. So, these black dots, other things. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore object sizes. Maybe, let's see. Everything I really want to cut is more than about 3/4 of an inch. So I think I'd be safe saying, ignore 1/2 inch or about there. Okay? So, I'm ignoring the small things. Now I'm going to add a border around the objects. Okay, so a little border, little outline distance. I just picked the first option all the time, 0.04. That's a good outline distance. Okay, I'll be showing you samples while this is cutting. Okay, I'm going to say okay, and right away I know I'm going to need to do a little work on this file. I know that I need to get rid of that tape that's trying to cut the tape and a couple other things. But first you have to say okay. Now, after that, I can get into this editing mode and do some work. Okay, I don't have to do much, but there is a piece of tape there that's trying to cut. So what a waste of time. We don't have time for cutting things we don't need. So we're going to go here and select that piece of tape and trash it. If there were any other bits in this, I would just trash them at that point. And if you're not sure, you can just sort of toggle around, select the items, they'll be outlined in red. And you know that all the good stuff is selected. You don't see any extra bits. We're doing good. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to cut. It's going to tell me how long it's going to take, and then I'll show you some samples while it's cutting. Because that way I don't have to stop the video and record and do encoding. Okay, it's going to take 4 minutes. And sorry for the noise. There's going to be a little bit of noise in this machine. In fact, I can move that away a little farther from the microphone. Alright, so my samples. I cut out the word thanks several times. Okay, and then I put them onto little pieces of different kinds of paper, and these were 2 inches by 4 inches, I believe. And I just stamped behind it. So in other words, I stamped the words thank you. But then the word thank that I cut out, I put on top of that using glue dots. Or I could use dimensionals, that would have been fine too. Okay, so that's a sample of what I colored in Rich Raspberry. I believe. Is it Rich Raspberry? Yes. Okay, I used this set of markers. And then what I did is I just thought it looked cool by outlining it in gray as well. Or it's actually smoky slate. And the cardstock I'm using is Tutti Frutti. It's one of the Tutti Frutti cardstock or card pack. It's one of the free things you can get during Sale-A-Bration. Okay, here's another sample. I took Whisper White cardstock and I colored this with the blends. And I used Pool Party. And Pool Party both light and dark, and then the smoky slate. Okay, here's another one. This one was Pumpkin Pie. And I used light and dark pumpkin pie and the smoky slate. Okay, now here's one that's really cool. I used the Tutti Frutti cardstock pack. I cut a piece of the card. And this is Calypso Coral. And it's amazing how just taking something like Calypso Coral, which is a dark color, and putting it on a dark background makes it look so much darker. That one over there. And here's what I mean by when I just told you I stamped the thank you and then I added onto the top. So here are ones I have ready for layering. I just haven't layered these yet. Okay, so that's what I mean. A bunch of these I stamped. Alright, did all that before work one day. Got up really early. This is gonna move to color. Alright, here's some more. This was a piece of Bubbles and Fizz Designer Series paper. This is Bubbles and Fizz. And I stamped thank you on it, and then I used these pink markers, which I just love these. I love the lighter colors of blends. I have more luck with them. Pink Pirouette. Okay, and that's how I colored that. And sometimes I just left the outside white, which is really nice. Okay, this is a Rich Raspberry combination with the pinks. That was nice. This is Daffodil Delight. Actually, these are both. Let me show them both to you because it's amazing how you can do the exact same thing, but depending on what color you put it on, it looks different. So this is, the Daffodil Delight. This is light and dark, and this is, one is a piece of Designer Series paper and one is a piece of Tutti Frutti cardstock. All right. Wow. Took 4 minutes to show you all that. So let's get this done. I'm just gonna say that all we have to do, I could move it back over just to show you. I'm gonna show you, okay? We're just gonna say okay. That's it, that's all. No mystery here. I don't wanna hide any controls from you, just so you know the whole thing we did. And then also we're just gonna unload the mat and say okay. Now I'm gonna pull this back out. And let's show you what we have. We're gonna show you our success and how to get these off the mat. And then I want to show you some other things I colored earlier. Okay, because I showed you the word thank, but I also colored some of the images. And I mean, I'm no coloring expert. I'm just like your average Joe. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just peeling. First of all, I just peel this Whisper White off the mat. Okay. There's one bird. He can see a little stuck in there, okay? And then I get rid of the Whisper White, and I'm left with the mat full of images. And I'm just gonna now peel, not peel, I'm gonna bend the mat. When you bend the mat, things come right off the mat. So here we go, bend the mat, pulling the images off the mat. And you can see the mat's a little bit sticky, but it wasn't enough to hold the whole paper on. But it's still enough to hold these images on, so it's good. Like if I bend them, then the mat will come off. All right. And we have them, and then I'll give you a close-up look at how they came out with that outline distance, and then I will show you some results of coloring with the blends. And then finally I will show you a kit that's available. All right, so here's the little birdies. Fabulous. Fabulous job. I mean, it goes all around the edge. It even goes up a little bit where the feathers are on the head. Excellent. And there's the word thank. Oh, we already did the bird. And there's the flower and a couple of the lanterns. Okay, so wonderful job. And now I'm going to show you what I did earlier. Okay, so I colored some flowers. Maybe I can use the inside of my case for some contrast here. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit more contrast when I put the flowers on the darker background. I really should have had a piece of black cardstock prepared. All right, so here are 3 flowers I colored. So for the first flower, very simple. I used Daffodil Delight, light and dark. I put dark around the edges, and then I went lighter, lighter, lighter on the inside, and then I went and put a little dark on the inside. The next one, Pink Pirouette. I put dark around the edges, lighter, 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 lighter. And then this third one, I used Rich Razzleberry Light, and then dark around the edges, then the darker Pink Pirouette, and then the light Pink Pirouette in the middle. And you'll see that it's not blending quite yet. Well, I think after it dries, it's going to look more blended. Because, you know, I just did this a little while ago. And it's supposed to blend a little better after it dries. All right, so good. Let's put those samples there. Okay, I like to put things in the camera. In the camera view. Then you have something to look at here. All right, next I want to show you these lanterns. I think this one came out really good. It was when I used Pumpkin Pie and the Daffodil Delight. I think that came out good. I tried to use Calypso Coral, not so good. In fact, that's a disaster. I'm getting rid of that one. But then I tried these little lanterns, and I tried different things with them, and I kind of like how these little lanterns turned out. So what I did is this one over here, I used Calypso Coral and the Pumpkin Pie together, which is kind of interesting. So it looked like kind of pink and orange. And then these two here, I used Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie together. And I like how I made the middle look like there's a glow from where the light bulb would come out of the lantern. And I think that would make a great Chinese New Year card, or just a really fun thing, those lanterns. All right, let's put those over here. And lastly, my cute little birds. I'm happy with my birds. So I figured, you know, this is I'm gonna call them lovebirds. So because I think this would make it cute, like a couple for a wedding card or something. So all I did was I put pumpkin pie on the beak and legs. And of course I should have used the small end. It ran a little bit on the legs, but there's each marker has a fine tip end, see, with the little line, and it has a thick end. So I should have used this, the thin fine tip end for this. Okay, then I used pink pirouette for the bird on the left. I'm going to call that the girl bird, and then I used pool party for the bird on the right. So that's like my male bird. Okay, and I could have used more colors, but this was just experimental, and I think they came out nice. So what I did is I put dark first around the whole edges of both birds, the dark color of blend, because each blend set comes in 2 colors. And then I put then I just did like circular motion, and I colored the insides in with a lighter color. So I'll put those over there. And then I just want to show you my blends collection. It took forever to get this collection. Not forever, because it hasn't been out that long. But I did work my way up to it. I got a couple at a time. And I have them in like right now these are stored in my M&M tin, which they fit perfectly. I have these M&M tins that I got some candy in, and my blends fit perfectly. So the blend set comes with 2 of each color, but it also comes with a color lifter. And the lifter is like when you mess up, you can lift the color off. And it works a little bit. I don't think it works that great to get the color off, because I did some mess ups and I just had to start over. And here's some more blends. Okay, in another case. So I have 2 cases of blends. And I bought, like, when I was putting in my different orders, because I'm a demonstrator and I get a discount, then I was adding a pair of blends each time or 2 pairs of blends until I had my collection complete. So I'm so excited to show you that. All right, one thing I just got, and I just found out that this is also one of the Sale-A-Bration items, is what's called the Color Me Happy Project Kit. Okay, I just bought this, and of course, right after I buy it, I find out that it's one of the Sale-A-Bration items. And it's a $25 value, so that's a really good Sale-A-Bration item. It means that if you spend $50 or more at my store, you get something free. And this is something to get for free. I think it's a good thing to choose, because not only is it a good value, but whether or not you have this stamp set or not, which I highly recommend, the Color Me Happy stamp set, but even if you don't have it, this kit is awesome on its own. Because look at all the cute little embellishments and cards and all the things you get in the kit. Twine, okay, adhesives and things. So I don't know if that's adhesive or washi tape, but I didn't open my kit yet. But I will be opening it. So this is what I can make some cards out of. And they give you sample cards, and instructions. Okay, so it makes 16 cards. So I think that's about all. If you'd like to order any of these items I've been featuring in this video, please check out my store, my Stampin' Up store, open 24/7. And the address is paperchef.stampinapp.net. And I'll have a link at the bottom of this video. And one cool thing, if you're thinking of joining Stampin' Up, and you're like, I have everything, I don't need to join Stampin' Up. Well, one thing you could do is if you join, you could actually get this entire set as part of your kit. It's called like a kit when you join, and you get to pick $125 worth of items, only $99 with free shipping. And you could just say, I have everything. That's fine. I'm going to get a set of blends. I'm going to get 2 free stamp sets, because your kit comes with 2 free stamp sets that you get to choose, and you'd be done. And maybe one other little thing, and then you don't pay shipping, you pay $99. You could join my team, and I would keep you inspired all year long. All right, well, thank you for watching. Please check out my blog, thepaperchef.com.